welcome to the xa'isla Handbook Part 4. So in this section, we'll be taking a look at what are known as alveolar sounds. So I'll say that again a little bit slower so that you get used to the sound of the word. Alveolar. Alveolar. So these are sounds that are made by pressing the tip of your tongue. Let me highlight this as I'm going along. Alveolar sounds are made by pressing the tip of your tongue against your alveolar ridge. So the alveolar ridge is the bump behind your upper front teeth. So that's right here, where you see the arrow pointing to. See these letters here. We'll get to those in a second. So those are the regular alveolar sounds. The letters, we have a regular letter N, and we have a glottalized letter N. So these are resonant sounds where the air mostly comes through your nasal cavity. So that's why these two letters are up here, because this is your nasal cavity. This is where the air is going to be coming out when you make these sounds. These other three, the air is going to be coming out through your mouth. So we have some examples of these xa'isla words containing these letters, starting with these letters. So first we have D, and the xa'isla word is do teeth. Do teeth. So notice again, if you watched the previous videos, hopefully you have an understanding of what this symbol is on top of this U. So if you remember to the previous videos, this is called an acute accent. So this means you place emphasis on this first syllable. The D and the U get emphasized. So we're saying do teeth. Watch my hand and listen to my voice. Do teeth. This symbol here, it's an L, and it has a wavy line going through it. That's called a tilted L, and it sounds like. We'll look at that a little bit more later on. There's a group of consonants that are similar to that sound that we'll take a look at in later lessons. And the meaning of do teeth is message. Next we have the letter T, so we have a regular letter T. And I should point out that there actually is a typo here. This Q, it's a regular rounded Q. It should actually have an apostrophe on top. So this is actually tequa, tequa, instead of tequa. So that missing apostrophe on top of this rounded Q makes a difference in terms of the pronunciation and also the meaning of the word. So tequa means octopus in the xa'isla language. So there's a regular T, and there's also what we call an ejective T, or as I like to call it, an apostrophe T. And it sounds like t, t. So if we go back to this diagram, the arrow starts at the tip of your tongue, and it's pointing to this alveolar ridge behind your upper front teeth. So what you're doing is you're raising the tip of your tongue and you're putting the back of the tip of your tongue against this alveolar ridge. So you make the duh, duh sound by doing that. Or tuh. Actually it's tuh. So the difference between the D and the T is that D is voiced, T is voiceless. And this ejective T is also voiceless. So duh, t, duh, t. They're both made the same way. It's just that with the D, you're using your vocal cords. With the T, you're not. If you hear any kind of vibration happening in your vocal cords, it's because of the vowel coming after the T. The T itself is completely voiceless. And so is the ejective T. So regular T, t. Ejective T, t. Regular T, t. apostrophe t. And the word we have as an example here is t'ebom. T'ebom. And this is a fern root. Also, pay attention to the fact that t'ebom refers to the root. There is a different word for the actual plant. The part that's above ground is t'ebas. T'ebas is a fern plant. T'ebom is a fern root. Next we have a regular N, and the word is nugwa. Nugwa means I or me. To be totally honest, the word nugwa is actually not really used that often in regular speech. More often than not, it actually gets reduced down to the letter N and added to the end of a word. So that is something that's fairly common in the xa'isla language. It's not really that common to hear the full word nugwa being used. More often than not, you'll see nugwa reduced down to the first letter, which is the N, then added to the end of a word. And then we have the apostrophe on top of the N. So this is a glottalized N. And what happens here is that there is a slight pause in front of this symbol. So there's two of them here in this word. This is na-na-kwa. Na-na-kwa. So you don't really hear the pause in front of this first glottalized N because we're starting the word on a pause. Every word starts from nothing, so you're essentially already starting with a glottal stop. So this N basically kind of behaves like a regular N. There's really no difference here when it's at the beginning of a word. There is a difference when it's in the middle of a word. So this second glottalized N has a slight pause in front of it, so we hear na, and then a slight pause, and then na-kwa. So if you listen closely, I'll say it again, you should hear that pause after the first syllable. So listen again as I say it. Na-na-kwa. Na-na-kwa. So I'm saying na, and if you remember from the previous videos, the videos that I talked about, the glottis being the opening between your vocal cords. So when there's a glottal stop, you're closing your glottis. You're closing your vocal cords. So that's what happens before this second glottalized N. So you're saying na-na-kwa. Na-na-kwa. You're closing your glottis before that second glottalized N. And then saying the rest of the word. And na-na-kwa means early morning or dawn. So that's it for this group of consonants. These are alveolar sounds.